Hi everyone, let's take a look at the chart for the new moon in Leo, which is occurring on July 28th, 2022, 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time, but times will vary. I'm vickieverlie, the rock and roll prophetess, and before we get started, if you like my content, please do hit that subscribe button because it definitely helps me out. So here we are, we've got this new moon in Leo, 5 degrees of Leo. Really powerful. I mean, it just sends out these positive kind of shock waves or something. It just really is emanating really nice energy to me. And the beautiful part is it's trining in with the Jupiter at 8 degrees of Aries over here. So we've got this nice trine and fire energy. Leo is upbeat. Jupiter is upbeat. Aries is upbeat. So there's a shift out of some of these heavier, or a shine, a little shine, a crack so the light can come through of a lot of these heavy energies that we have been dealing with. So we have the new moon in Leo with 5th house energy. This is always a good time to have fun, do like amusement parks, parties, outdoor parties, theater, performing, go see a show, Shakespeare in the Park or something I'm picking up for somebody. So, this is going out and having an adventure with the Jupiter and Aries. Jupiter and Aries wants to have an adventure. Jupiter and Aries wants to be the trailblazer and go down a new path or discover. With Jupiter, there could be travel. There could be going to a new country or a different locale or something. So very, very positive and favorable energy, upbeat, coming out of some of the doldrums that we have found ourselves in. Now, the Uranus node thing is very close. I think this is the chart as far as just I do the new and full moon charts. I think this is the chart where it's going to be absolutely the closest. But I mean, we've been swimming in the soup for a while, and I did pull up because definitely a Uranian North Node conjunct thing happened here recently in this brand new telescope that they've discovered. Well, not discovered, that they've released or unveiled. And, it's the James Webb Space Telescope. And I just want to pull up, if you haven't heard about it, I mean, it's been everywhere, but on the left, which I was, Hubble, I was a Hubble freak, I love the Hubble. I remember the very first one that came out, Birth of a Planet, and it was just like these squares, and it was and we still got the paper delivered, and I was just so enthralled by it. Matter of fact, I had it hanging, I had that little newspaper, I cut it out of the newspaper, and I had it hanging just on a thumbtack in my kitchen for years until it fell apart. I just immediately hung it up, and a friend was over back then. I don't know what year that was. It'd be interesting to look it up. It was sometime probably, in the late 90s, I would say. But, late 90s. And, well, anyways, this friend was over one time, and he goes, oh, you got that too? I love that thing too. And I go, yeah, it makes me feel like, and together we said home. So it was really cool. That was just this moment that I always remember. Like somebody else thinks maybe they're from outer space besides me. Of course, now at the internet, a lot of people, I was almost afraid to say it or whatever. But, I was always in love with the Hubble imagery. Now, this is there's quite a few on this NBC site, but there's, they're all over the internet. But, I mean, actually, I know I do like these colors better, but if you look at the detail, look at this edging, and look at how it was all cloudy and murky and kind of like low res, and compared to the detail that's in here. Oops, I keep making that happen, sorry. That's where you can really see the difference. Put aside color and aesthetics for a minute and just look at how this is sort of blurry and lumpy, and look at all the fine detail. So who knows what this is going to lead to. This is just so, to me, I'm super excited about it. It's something positive finally come out in the news, or through the government or whatever. And Neptune is definitely involved in this, I would say, because Neptune rules over photography. And also, like I said, I always did get like a very spiritual sense from this, from the Hubble photography. So now we're going to be able to see even more, uncover even more, expand in the Uranian way onto our next level of discovery in outer space. So I think it's just so, I'm so stoked about this whole thing. I can't stop, every time I find images, I'm just, engrossed in looking at the imagery and really into it. Another thing, the last video I talked about how the North Node Uranian conjunction will lead to, possibly people, changing jobs and doing things like, maybe I was talking about how some people really love to clean. And quite a few people in the comments were saying, yeah, I'm a Virgo and I love to clean too. See, and I think that's, part of the thing. People were expected, like, oh, cleaner, that's a low level job. That's a lowly person does cleaning. Somebody would love that job. Somebody, that's what they really love to do. But another thing is, many times that I think that we get into this, the group consciousness, which is also 11th house. I'm having a little bit of it's hot and I'm having a hot flash, so I've got to spritz myself with some water. You'll hear a little bit of noise, but I just have to cool down for a second, okay? Yeah, so, trying to be with the group, it's just like, well, I really would like to dig dishes, or I really would like to, clean houses, but, I want to have a high prestige job, and that won't look good on my Instagram or whatever, So we got to break out of that and really let our freak flag fly. That is the message of the Uranian energy, is letting our freak flag fly in all sorts of ways, not just our vocation or our career or our job, but in all sorts of ways. And, that's been coming around for quite a while, just like coming out about, like I was saying, about space people and stuff like that. Or even, back in the day, coming out about being a psychic. And people coming out, with, as far as gender fluidity and all this, too. And the Neptune is really a part of it, at least right now I feel it is. The Neptune is all the beautiful creativity and expressions of source in the human form from the Neptunian energy that has been, stifled by the powers that be, all the way down to, school and everything. In school, we're all taught to conform, and, if you don't, go along with the group and you learn these set of, facts, or this curriculum that is, to indoctrinate you into the the system or whatever. Somebody called it something. They said they were going to unplug. I had a client last week, and I really liked what she said. I can't think of it right now. She said she's unplugging, not from the grid, but she had a really cool term for it. But at any rate, while this structure is being cracked open, and the Uranus North Node is definitely helping it. Come on now, all this beautiful Neptunian energy can come through. And that's, higher spiritual stuff, but also the Leo. Leo is expression of creativity. That's that 5th house, And there's, so many things that are coming through, and all these different, it reminds me of, too, this is a much, smaller scope and a much more specialized thing, but it's music, which I'm always, into. But, in the days of top 40 radio, and payola, only music that, was deemed, we were fed, what do you call that, curated. We were fed a curated list of music that could make it through, to the radio stations or through the record companies or whatever. And now, it's busting wide open, and all this creativity is flowing through with the Neptune energy, but also, this new moon in Leo is just so positive and so favorable to launch any kind of creative thing put it out into the universe. Jupiter is there publishing a book, I wanted to have some things ready to go, but I'm not going to have them ready to go. I've got a new song and some things, but it looks like I'm not going to have it ready to go. But, you don't have to, it doesn't always have to be, because ultimately the Leo energy, paired with the Jupiter and everything, we're talking about having fun. We're talking about enjoying life. We're talking about elevating our energy through laughter, fun, and play in the Leo way, The other thing that is happening here, if we look, we've got the Mercury. It's not conjunct. I wouldn't call it conjunct. It's also in the sign of Leo, but it's at 18 degrees. But it is making a square to the Mars here. We've got Mercury squaring the Mars, coming out of the 2 fixed signs of Leo into the sign of Taurus. So, there could be some, arguments, disagreements, stubbornness, pride getting in the way. That's, there's always a positive and negative expression, of course, and then so that negative expression, would be the pride. in the ego. You know, it can get that way. Squaring up with the Mars, there could be arguments over money or something like this. Mars is also, I would say, conjunct this thing, and actually the Mercury square is conjunct the Uranus thing right in there at 18 degrees. So writing, creativity, spreading the word, something taking off on the internet and through, you know, through the stratosphere, through the interweb is what the guides are coming up with. They're making a little joke there. The Mercury is also trining the Chiron, so that's really lovely. That could be some nice healing energy that could take place, because healing, you know, it can be an internal thing, of course, and that's, you know, very common, but also we need to express it. We need to communicate it. The channeling I just did today, I was channeling, the last couple of days I've been channeling away. I was talking about soul fragments and how things are trapped in the body. And they talked a lot about how things, you know, moving it through the physical, moving it out. And with the Mars and Taurus, you know, this is very much moving thing. Even, you know, the negative side of Mars, you could say, of moving anger and energy through the physical body and finding an outlet and way to purge it. And to, you know, clear it, purge it. Okay, we've got this Venus conjunct Lilith here. You know, this, when I see this together, the first thing I think of is some kind of an obsession, you know. Watch that you don't get carried, because this could be falling in love. You know, Leo, falling in love for sure. And then with the Jupiter and Aries, we're going to charge right in and rush right in, and that's a beautiful thing. If that's how, excuse me again, I just have to spray one more time. You know, that could be a very beautiful thing. But, also, you got to watch that it doesn't get, you know, become an obsession. You know, the Venus, and you're already, you know, getting the U-Haul and setting up house, dreaming about moving in or setting up house together with, when you factor in the Cancerian energy. You know, you meet the love of your life, and then, oh, you know, we don't want to get, we want to, you know, maybe take a little time to get to know somebody, you know, before we rush into that. I mean, or maybe not. Maybe that's, you know, maybe that's just the way I feel about things. But it could be like this passionate thing that kind of, I'm hearing it's bigger than the both of us. But yeah, and maybe it is bigger than the both of you. I'm trying to get the screen to come back down. I've switched my storage thing, and it's displaying it a little bit differently. I'm sorry about messing all around with this thing so much. Let me just get it in one spot and hold it. There we go. Yeah, you know, it could be, you know, that's a real thing. And with the Uranian thing and the Mars too, there could be this mad sexual attraction. You know, and this earthy, musky is the word that's coming through, this earthy, musky way, because the Taurus is very much, you know, and, you know, this, the smells. I always think of Taurus with the smells and everything. But, you know, let's not go crazy. Let's let's take it one step at a time. Let's I guess that's not what I'm trying to say. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, because things could get crazy and out of hand. You know, we also are having this interaction with the nodes too, so you know, it may be some kind of destined thing, you know, some kind of a destined thing, a past life connection, could be. But what we feed that Lilith in there, and that kind of, you know, get things kind of escalated or passion. It could be passionate arguments too. You know, that could be too. You could get really passionately arguing. You know, this Leo is squaring with the Leo Mercury is squaring with the nodes. So, you know, you could, what the guys are coming through with is, you could say something that you can't take back. But what I was going to say is, you could hear from somebody from the past, you know. Somebody even from, like, childhood, I'm feeling. Like, maybe somebody from childhood, an old childhood friend. Uranus energy, maybe they'll hit you up on social media, and, you could reconnect in that way. But on the positive side, we are moving forward. We are moving to the next phase of reality. And I feel like I follow NASA on all its social media, and I did not hear anything about this telescope, the development of it, until they announced it. So it's almost like it was kind of, not really secret, but kind of secret. You know, it was kind of this secret thing that they weren't really talking about. And then boom, there it is. You know, it's making the aspect to the Chiron too, so there can be some healing that comes through and from this. And the healing that I'm feeling around this is more just like an understanding, a deeper understanding of how, where we are in the universe. Everything's not in our little world of Earth, but also our little world of our little life here, our own little individual life with this Aries energy. There's this much broader, there's this much bigger universe out there at large. And it's not, with these development, this continual development and continuing to move in this direction, we really can't deny that, oh, it's just something out there and, in the sky, and it's not really part of us, because it's been becoming part of us energetically. Many people are tuning into their starseed energy. Many people are tuning into, all this galactic stuff and spirit guides, and you don't even have to take it in that alien slant if that's too far out there for you. But certainly everybody watching this is aware of like their spirit guides, and that those exist, and they get these downloads and intuitive messages. So that's all part of expanded consciousness. That's all part of the age of Aquarius and the Uranian next level of things. And it's such an exciting time to be alive. I really feel that way. And I feel like there's more to come. I do feel like there's more to come with this. I feel like there'll be more things uncovered, maybe even through this very medium of the James Webb Space Telescope. But maybe I feel like there's going to be even more positive things. Yes, with the Uranian energy, things could go awry. This could, if somebody or a situation is already unstable, it could become more unstable. There could be, downside could be violence. All of this is true, but why not focus on this beautiful positive energy and feed that, and so we can, as a collective, get more and more of that. I'm looking at the aspectarian, and there is a lot of squares. I mean, there really is a lot of squares. Mercury's squaring a lot. Mercury, what I'm getting with the Mercury squaring, making all these squares too, is like, a lot of times, okay, that would be news or words said that are argumentative or rub you the wrong way or maybe cause conflict or arguments or something like that. But I'm feeling about it, in this case, yes, that might be the initial reaction. That it's just like, what a jerk, why did they say that? Or, boy, that was shitty, or something. That's, I'm getting that kind of, rebuff, kind of recoiling, what? But then maybe if you sit with it, maybe even if it was delivered in a really harsh way, there may be little bits of enlightenment or little bits of wisdom that are sprinkled in some of these harsher words, that maybe there is something there that you could, maybe the person or the situation, if you have the ear to listen, the guides are coming through it. If you have the ear to listen, there is messages there. There is things there that can help you in your soul growth and your freedom, because Uranus wants freedom. Your freedom to shed these old burdensome, cloaks of things. Come be like the childlike again. Be like the fool in the tarot. I'm going to pull him out. Be like the fool in the tarot, because he's light and he's free and he doesn't carry the burdens with him anymore. He's moved on. He's he's having faith. He's having faith in the future, and he's excited to step into the future, because the future is, where we're going. It's always is and always will be where we're going. And much I don't have the Fool here. Well, I went through this whole little deck and didn't find him, so I guess we're not going to view him. But what I wanted to point out is the Fool also, he just has this little sack on his back. He's not carrying all this heavy weight, if you're familiar with the tarot, like the Ten of Rods is. He has a very light weight, and he's very, here he is, here's our Fool. And he's very happy and excited about the future. And this is the energy that can definitely come forth with the energy of the Leo energy, but also because Jupiter's in Aries. Jupiter in Aries is this time to start this new beginning, to, it's a whole new beginning of be like the child, be the free spirit, be open to the world. He's open. His arms are open, and he's ready, and he's shining in the sun. It's the Leo energy and those right on the bottom of my deck happens to be the sun card. You know, he shines like the sun. You shine like the sun. What is it? Shine on, you crazy diamond. Da 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 da. I'm sorry if the singing bugs you. Sorry, but that's another way that my guides do come through. I'm not just goofing off singing songs for no reason. So shine on, you crazy diamond. Yeah. In the most positive way. You can go crazy, you know, without, you know, causing destruction to anybody. Going crazy doesn't mean looting stores or shooting people up or, you know, these other, you know, the way that, you know, a lot of times people do. You can go crazy, you know, go to a music festival and get in a mosh pit and dance and sing and enjoy, you know, be in joy. This is the time to be in joy and be like childlike and have a lot of fun, because in doing so we further fuel these higher energies to come through. Like I just came through the other day with, you know, the higher you go, that there's only so much of us, and this rules Aquarius and Uranus rules. I know it's the Leo moon, but I'm talking a lot about this because this is a big deal that's happening here. It hasn't happened in a really long time. I don't know how many hundreds of years in the sign of Aquarius. I mean, in the sign of Taurus. But they were talking about, like, there is a spectrum. So, you know, maybe we're about in the middle of the spectrum or whatever. And then as you raise, as you move to new heights, even the lowest of the low are raised up as well. So that is the way, you know, that is the way to increase our frequencies, to expand our higher consciousness out into the cosmos, you know, as we're doing energetically, and as now we have a visual representation of as well. And, you know, I'm sure in, you know, years from now we'll look back on this James Webb telescope and say, oh, how primitive it was. But for right here at this moment in time, it's a pretty big leap for people, our mankind here, or the Earth Walkers, as my guides refer to us as, the Earth Walkers. Us Earth Walkers here. Yeah, so this is a very powerful time. Yeah, are there a lot of squares? Sure, there are a lot of squares, but do we have to focus our attention there? No, we do not. I'm trying to get this. That's what I have to do. There we go. Let's see what. I'll just take one more quick scander at this thing and see if there's anything else. Yeah, Saturn square the nodes in Uranus. I've been talking about that. You can go back and watch some of the other videos. I don't feel like I need to go over that again. Uranus conjunct the North Node. Yeah, that's the big news. And this is, you know, these new moon and full moon events. That's why I do these charts for these time frames, is because, you know, they can really, no, I can't get this back the way I should have messed with it. That's close enough. You know, they can really activate and set off a lot of other energy. So yeah, this isn't quite exact, but I was looking at the next chart, and this is the closest it's going to be during a new or full moon. And I think the new moon, you know, is very powerful, because that's, I think, the thing that most people relate to, is we want to initiate these new beginnings. We want to, you know, start something new. We want to be excited again about life. We want to have fun again with life. We want to enjoy life, you know, enjoy our sojourn on planet Earth, you know, because that helps raise vibration. And I think I've said this before, you know, the Leos, I know a lot. My mother was a major Leo. She had like every planet in Leo, I think, except for one thing, but everything else was in Leo in her chart. So I know my Leo energy. You know, I've had a lot of, well, what I find in the music is my best the front people, front woman, front man, they're always the performers. So, you know, the Leos are always the performer. They're always a blast to be around. They like to laugh. They like to have a lot of fun. But here's one thing I know about them, is that, you know, they don't get all like, what are you talking about? You know, jump all over your shit over every little thing. You know, they let things roll off their back. They stay, you know, in this full energy of being really open and being really, you know, let's have fun, and let's not dwell. They're not dwellers. They're not dwelling on the past, and they're not, you know, they're not, I mean, everybody gets depressed, sure, but they're not overall depressed people. You know, they're fun to be around. They like to laugh. They have the best laughs. That's how you can always peg a Leo. If you hear somebody who has this contagious laugh, go up to them and say, I bet you're a Leo, and freak them out, because 9 out of 10 times it will be. Yeah, so this is the time of laughter. This is the time of fun communication. This is the time to be free and lighten our energy. Can conflicts arise? Sure. Can some people, this is another thing that came through with the guides early on when I was channeling, some people get into a heightened state of energy, and it affects their field so much that they don't really, you know, they act out in perhaps violent ways or anger ways or, you know, destructive ways, because they just don't, it's such a big leap from where they are now that they just don't know how to handle it. And they just aren't acclimated to a lot of the higher energy. So that can be combustible at times. That can be, that can cause, you know, some individuals to kind of go off, I guess you could say. But if we as the collective just keep coming back to this kind of vibe, that's what's needed right now. That's mostly all the guides are talking about right now. Don't worry about trying to convince anybody of anything. Maybe I have my notebook right here. Let me just see if I can find that bit about the cognitive mind and all that. It was real interesting. It was the whole channel on peace. They were talking about peace. And they were talking about the cognitive mind. Yeah, let me just read this one little passage. This whole chapter is cool. I might make a whole video out of it. But peace is a place from within, a portal into stillness where the cognitive mind may rest and cease to dominate. Yeah, so they talked a lot about that. And, you know, the cognitive mind can get out of control. And they talk about brain waves and all kinds of stuff. It was a really good session. This was yesterday, actually. It was the session for yesterday. Yeah, so with the Mercury squaring this whole thing, and especially the Mars too, you know, yeah, the cognitive mind can go a little crazy, come up with some crazy things. But sometimes you have to come up with something crazy in order to have a breakthrough. That's where invention is born. That's how we break through to the next level. It is crazy. They called them all crazy. They called Tesla crazy. They called Van Gogh crazy. They called, you know, all these great geniuses that were these great inventors. They were called crazy, and a lot of, you know, and other people who were trying to lift humanity, you know, they were really, you know, burned at the stake and beat all that kind of stuff. So there is a little bit, it's not crazy, it's unconventional, it's outside the norm, okay? But there could be, you know, there could be other kinds of reactions, but let's hope for not, and let's just keep feeding that higher vibe. Let's push that spectrum up. Keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And we break through this glass ceiling, we're bringing up the bottom. We're bringing up the rear, baby. That's all you light workers out there. It's time to bring up the rear and break out the party and have some fun, okay? Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in for the reading. This is always a pleasure, especially I really do like doing these astrology readings a lot, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm not offering any special readings at the time, but I do have a few readings open, you know, the usual fare. Some are card readings. A couple of the astrology readings that are available right now more have to do with past lives and soul reading stuff. Next month I will be offering the next Ingress chart, which will be the Libra equinox. I'll start opening up for that next month. But right now, nothing special, but I do have, you know, my all the things available on my website. I just wanted to take, as before we go, just one more look at this Hubble stuff. So do check out my website. Do check out the links below. I appreciate everybody who supports me in all the ways that you do, by liking, sharing, commenting, all the things that help support me and the channel. Have all sorts of art. Listen to my music. It's free. If you want to read my books, they're all available in the Kindle Lending Library. So, you know, a lot of that stuff is free too. It's a great time that we're living in. Magical things are happening. Let's stay on this course. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great new moon in Leo. Get out and have some fun, and we'll talk again soon.